Good morning and welcome back to On the Bump, an SP Streamer podcast, now part of the Fantrax Podcast Network and FantraxHQ.com family. It's Sunday, May 9th. I'm your host, Dougie Shikawa. You can follow me on Twitter at CoachingIsh. Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful moms out there, because as always, I'm joined by the harmonious Michael Simeone at SP Streamer, and we have a special guest, and we say that all guests are special, but he's like special. It's the doc, Mr. Mike Carter at MDRC 0508. You got to change that up, Doc. But
I know it's terrible. Isn't it?
Mike's good to talk to you both. How are you both doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good to be with you guys. I feel like we got the band back together today.
Yeah, this is like this is some nostalgia right here.
It is nostalgia. I mean, Mike Carter is coming back. He's writing for spstreamer.com again. So that's why he's joining us this morning. And of course, Simeone is always here because he's the SP Streamer master himself, because today is Forecaster Sunday. You've both brought some pitchers to discuss. Hopefully the caliber of like a no-hitter Wade Miley. That was wonderful the other night.
How nice would it have been if I picked him?
It would have been beautiful, and it really would have pushed the brand forward. But you know what? You picked Mike Fultonevich, who he went out there and had
not bad. Gave you good whip, gave you Ks, gave you innings. I'll take it.
We can't project the no-hitters. Nobody projected a Wade Miley no-hitter, but congratulations to Wade Miley from the Cincinnati Reds. Doc, let's start with you. You brought a couple pitchers to discuss as we take a look ahead of the upcoming week. What do you got?
Well, and pickings can be pretty slim, right? But we take a deep dive here and take a look at some guys that might be able to help you out. And one guy that I've been I don't want to say I've been high on, but one guy that I've been giving some credence to is Erick Fedde from Washington. And I know Mike and I were just talking about him off camera and laughing about him. But before people turn their nose up at me on this one, let me give you a little testimony if I can. He's going to get a couple more starts, I think, with Strasburg on the shelf. I mean, it's hard to believe that Strasburg is hurt, right? So Fedde was brutal last week against the Braves, really. I mean, gave up 2 home runs, 5 earned, and that was not a good start. But if you take a deeper dive and take that dud out of there, he's got a 2.61 ERA in his other 4 starts this year. He's throwing the cutter more, which I think is actually helping him out a little bit. He was about 16% last year in a small sample size. And he zoomed that up to 28% this year. And the results are pretty good. I mean, on the surface, he's got a 148 batting average against him so far when he throws the cutter. I feel like you could do a lot worse than this. He gets Philadelphia and Arizona coming this week. Both teams are not hitting really well. And some people think Arizona is hitting well, but when you really look at it, they're hitting about 237. So, I think Fedde is a guy that you might want to take a shot at. And I think a low bid and a fab bid would get him for you. I don't think many people are going to be after him.
All right. Michael, are you on board with Erick Fedde?
I mean, you bring up some good points.
That means no.
That is a nice way to tell you, Mike Carter.
He's not a bad like speculative ad kind of thing. I mean, the strikeout percentage is way up compared to previous seasons. I just don't know. I don't know if the sinker can be good enough. Yeah. I don't know.
It's a real problem.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I haven't dove too much into him. He had, what was it, 2 starts ago where he had like 9 strikeouts or something crazy?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So, I mean, anything's possible. I'd have to really look. I don't know if his velocity's up or anything. It looks like it is up about half a mile an hour.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And then on top of that, it doesn't really look like there's more movement or anything though. Yeah, I mean, he's all right.
All right. Well, who did you want to discuss then, Simeone?
Poor Mike. No, I agree with Arizona though. They've been hitting well, but they actually really kill lefties, and they've run into a couple lately. So I think that's what's kind of making people think they're better than they really are. Yeah, I mean, I just wrote down a couple names. I mean, for single starters, I mean, coming up, I mean, Alzolay's been really good. If he's somehow still out there, I think he's got some serious strikeout potential. Mm-hmm. He's coming up against Cleveland, who's been no hit twice in the week or whatever it's been. So that's obviously appealing. Yeah, if he's somewhere out there, I think he's like kind of lowly owned still. But he's actually my stream of the week too. I think Flexen's pretty decent. He gets the Reds, and then you got Wade Miley against Pittsburgh. If somehow no one's picked up Miley at this point, although I'm sure they have. I mean, Pitt is basically bottom of the barrel offense right now. They're actually, as of right now, in the past 7 days, they're last in WRC plus, well, but OPS. They're worse than the Tigers somehow right now. So they're definitely someone to kind of target, and I'll just actually continue this way real quick, Doug. Seattle, I'd be targeting too because they have a high strikeout rate, lowest average in the last 7 days. Detroit's rebounding a little bit, but they're still Detroit. We know how bad they can be. The Padres, Phillies, and Braves actually are all playing really bad offense right now. But I'd be careful because I feel like those offenses can pop at any time, though. Kind of like what happened with the Yankees. The Yankees were really bad for a while, and then all of a sudden they just clicked and were putting up runs left and right. To continue against left-handed hitters, I would stream against Detroit, Pitt, Cincy, Royals, Atlanta. They're all getting killed. Atlanta's like extreme. They're so bad against left-handed pitchers, but then against righties, they kill them. And then righties, you got Detroit again, Pitt again, and then Oakland and Milwaukee. They're struggling against right-handed hitters as well. So, yeah, I really went off the ledge here, Doug, but yeah.
Oh, I like it. Doc, do you have another
asked me for pictures, and I just kept going.
It's okay. It's a run-on. It was the longest run-on sentence I've ever heard. But Doc, do you have another picture that you'd like to discuss before Michael shuts it down?
Well, I'm afraid. I know we're looking at guys that are not owned in a lot of places or have low ownership. One guy that I kind of keep coming back to and keep trying, and I shouldn't be probably, is Mitch Keller. I know, he's got Cincinnati and San Francisco this week, supposedly, if that ends up happening. But he's inconsistent, right? I mean, he's a guy he's young. It feels like Pittsburgh's been waiting forever for this guy to get going, and they might be waiting forever for him. But I think he had a pretty good outing last week if anybody was paying attention. He went 5 2/3 innings. He got a win. He had 5 strikeouts. He didn't give up any runs and only gave up 2 hits. The week before he got shelled and he gave up 5 walks. I mean, it's inversely proportional to how many walks he gives up as to how badly he pitches, because he doesn't usually give up a lot of hits. He's got 3 hits, 2 hits, 5 hits. He's a guy that if he finds a little bit of consistency, I think could actually be a guy to stash and maybe try in other places. To Michael's point, he beat up on the Padres last week, and the Padres are really struggling, as you pointed out. So if he keeps the walks down, he's a guy that it has some intrigue for me. I mean, granted, pitching against Cincinnati, but he's at home. I think that there's some potential there for that. There's a lot of low shelf options coming this week that are just garbage that I don't want to touch. But Keller's a guy that I think you might take a shot with. I say that a lot, and I probably should stop saying it. Now I'm going to stop talking so that Michael can passively attack me.
No. Keller's good. Keller's he has those weird starts where he goes I think it was one game he was 4 innings, no earned, 5 walks, and he has those starts where he just walks everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what he's all about. Like you mentioned, it's just if he can get that command down, he could be good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's not like Pittsburgh's got a ton of options behind him at this point, right?
No.
So
he'll stay.
They're going to let him. They're going to let him go. I mean,
yeah,
Brault and Cool and those guys have been hurt, and So I think you could do worse. Obviously, hopefully you can do a lot better. But those are intrigued by too. Another guy that I'm kind of mulling over. I haven't picked him up anywhere yet. Is Merrill Kelly. He's been better in the last week. He had 2 starts last week where he was pretty decent. He too is inconsistent though, and he's coming off of injury. It's hard to know what you're going to get. And one of the things that I've really learned in the last year, I feel, in doing all this stuff is these guys that are coming off of being hurt or dinged up a little bit are really not getting a lot of volume when it comes to innings. And so many of these guys, their value comes from having to eat some innings. And if you only get a guy that's going to pitch 4 innings, what's he really doing for you? I mean, unless he gets a massive amount of Ks, He's not going to give you a win. Clearly, they're not going to give you a lot of stats that you're looking for. So it's something to really be mindful of, I think, as we move forward.
So to kind of go back and recap from the doc, the recommendations: Eric Fetty, Mitch Keller, Merrill Kelly, Michael Simeone, our SB Streamer Master Streaming of the universe here, Edbert Alzolay, Chris Flexen, as well as Wade Miley, if he hasn't been picked up as of yet. Before we leave, make sure to get your daily read on. Doc, do you want to talk us through a little bit about what you're bringing to the sbstreamer.com site? I know you're doing a weekly article. Can you touch upon some of the things that you're going to be talking about?
Yeah, so Michael and I chatted a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to be doing an article every week. It's going to be a small one for the website where we highlight guys that are owned, very low owned on NFBC, and looking at some guys that might be able to help you. So we're really targeting those guys that are owned in like 15 to 20% of leagues that might be able to help you with a small bid, especially as you navigate through the never-ending wave of injuries that seem to be befalling so many players this year. So I'm excited to do that. So we're going to focus on 3 or 4 hitters a week and 3 or 4 pitchers a week that might be guys that can help you out. And when you read it, let the attacks begin. My DMs are open. Please feel free to flood me with how stupid I am. I'm all good with it.
No, Twitter's a nice place for everybody to be in. So, as always, if you're listening on a platform that allows you to rate, review, or share us, it would be greatly appreciated. That's our show for today. Simeone, talk to you soon.
Yeah, before we go real quick, Doug, some 2 starters for you out there.
Oh, yeah, let's go. Give it up.
Luke Weaver goes against Miami and Washington, both struggling. You got Alex Wood against Texas and Pitt, which is ideal, as well as Logan Webb against Texas as Pitt. So take advantage of those 2 Giants pitchers.
Yeah, I really like Alex Wood this week too.
Yeah, he should be pretty good out there for the Giants. Doc, always a pleasure having you on. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Very excited that you're back working with us.
Yeah, it's great. I'm really excited about it. I didn't expect it, and I'm busy, man. I'm writing for 3 different places now, which is awesome. It's more than I ever thought I would be doing, so I'm really thrilled to do it.
Oh,
I went to Mike like 3 separate times. Like, hey, man, like, if you want to just come back over and see what's happening over here and write a little bit.
Yeah, we are slowly bringing the band back together here, but it is always a pleasure to have you both on. For Michael Simeone and Mike Carter, I'm Doug Ishikawa. Hope that you have a great Sunday, everyone. Take care of your mothers. Wish them well. We'll be back here with you Wednesday with our Observer Report for On the Bump. But in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and we will see you soon.